Merhaba YouTube. Mis450 Developers kanalımıza hoş geldiniz. Daha önce 12 Rules of Learning Code Part 1'i paylaşmıştık. Şimdi Part 2'sini sizinle paylaşmaya hazırım. 7. Be accountable. Be accountable to someone, show your work. The biggest problem with online coding courses is the lack of accountability. No doubt, there are lots of great, massive, open online courses, such as Coursera, Udemy, Skillshare, but what are the consequences of not doing your homework or missing a month's worth of lectures? Nothing. Nobody cares. Let's face it, international motivation isn't strong as in any of us. We can always find a reason why we deserve to Netflix and chill. I can't even count how many online courses I have signed up to and subsequently not listened to a single lecture or completed a single piece of coursework. You need accountability and commitment to learning. Think back to your university days. Would have bothered to finish that essay at 3 a.m. if nothing depended on it? Would you have gone to any of lectures if you didn't care about passing or failing? This is why we try to introduce accountability into our courses. We have realized that matching up students with a buddy helps. Someone else who is a beginner at the same level as you, who sometimes helps you and other times needs your help. Sometimes, as people's learning rates diverge, or if you are paired up with a lazy booger, you can swap it up and get a new buddy. Because this system is entirely voluntary, there are a degree of self-selection for people who work well in teams and are motivated by others. Just as you are more likely to go to the gym if you sign up with your partner, you are more likely to learn if you have a coding buddy. So if you are not on your own course, on our course, then find your own. There is plenty of Facebook groups dedicated to those who are learning to code. There is an entire subreddit dedicated to this. I'm sure you will find like-minded people somewhere online or offline. The next thing I am going to tell you will be controversial. We believe that people don't value these things that don't have a value. This is the reason why Coursera is taking down a large number of their free courses. They saw that millions of people were signing up for it, but no one was taking any of the classes, let alone complete any of the projects. It was actually detrimental to students learning to offer a free course. We all have a degree of hoarding tendencies, and it's very easy to sign up for a bunch of stuff that the future you can suffer thought. There is always tomorrow, she says. So, if you are driven more by external motivation than internal, try to use a little bit of financial motivation to drive your learning. Think about how much a life skill is worth to you and put your money where your intentions are. See if you are engaging with the course content more with or without the financial commitment. There are plenty of places where you can pay something affordable to motivate yourself to start a regular learning habit. The final part of this rule is to try and find ways of getting assets. Okay, so getting assessed is right up there with debt and taxes in terms of how much people enjoy it. But when learning anything, it's always important to get feedback. You will get an objective assessment of your current skill level instead of feeling like an imposter of or brimming with false confidence. Coursera has a system where the students mark each other's work. At the app Bravely, we use GitHub Education to test your code and look for bugs and problems with your code. But if you are on a coding course that doesn't have a system like this, then it will be worth your while to find a code mentor who can review your code and give you feedback. Only what's measured can be improved. 8. Keep learning. Being a good programmer is a bit like being Madonna. Don't run out and buy your concept press just yet. What I mean is programming will keep evolving. In order to stay relevant, you have to keep reinventing yourself. There is always new trends, new technologies, and new language. Great programmers relish in learning new things, even if it means they become a beginner again. The world will keep moving. If you stay in one place, you will eventually be left behind. I know programmers who never learned anything else apart from Fortran. I know Objective-C programmers who can't persuade themselves to make the leap and learn Swift. Even though Apple is telling developers that Objective-C will be passed out. We all know that Apple never makes trades that they don't carry out. Just look at the optical drive, and soon the headphones shake. Don't be the optical drive, or rather, don't be the laptop that's still trying to play CDs. If your needs change, learn to use a new tool, keep learning, stay relevant. Are you a web developer who always wanted to get into mobile development? Pick a platform and learn iOS or Android. Are you a front-end developer who is tempted by the full stack? Pick up when development with Node. If you already understand the core programming concepts, picking up a few more languages will be a lot easier than starting from scratch. Learning X in Y minutes is a great research for existing programmers to learn new programming language. Check out their resource here. You can check it here, learnxinYminutes.com. 9. Play foosball. When you see Hollywood movies about programmers, they are usually set in front of a laptop, mashing the keyboard like they are in some sort of high-stakes smash the whole game. When you see real programmers working, they tend to look like this. If I sit here long enough starting the screen, maybe I will be inspired. Yep, that's right. No typing, just starting, a lot of starting. In a company, people tend to complain that the programmers are always playing football or doing something else that doesn't look like work. People might not be able to tell, but they are in fact working. When you see them enjoying their football game, laughing and joking, they are probably suffering inside. For there is a bug, there is always a bug, or there is something mysterious about their code that they can't work out. Maybe the code is working perfectly, but unexpectedly, programmers don't like anything unexpected, by the way. Life, like if they just typed out 1,000 lines in one go, and unexpected, there are no errors. Here is a tweet from I am developer. Before bed, drink peppermint tea. Run a bat meditate, get into bed, read, fill out your gratitude journal, turn the lights out, roll over. Brain says, "Hi, that bug you couldn't fix earlier was on L34 in helpers.js. Bye." Other people might not understand, but in these situations it's almost always worth stepping away from your code and giving it some time and distance. Do you have a bug in your code that you can't work out? Sleep on it, play foosball, go for a walk. In 9 out of 10 cases, the solution will become apparent. In the remaining 1 out of 10 cases, you are just screwed. This may sound unintuitive, but my advice is always to code less, think more. Once the poorly thought out code is written and brought into the world, you will inevitably have to go back and comp out your code line by line, refactoring and deleting things. This is always a painful experience, so remember, the easiest code to get rid of is the code that was never written. 10. Get a mentor. When I was learning French, I came across a method that resulted in the greatest leap in my speaking abilities. That was having language exchanges over Skype. I would pair up with a native French speaker who wanted to learn English. We would spend half an hour speaking French and half an hour speaking English. We would both dedicate an hour each week to improving the language that we were trying to learn. While we were having a conversation in French, we would correct my pronunciation or grammar and suggest ways that I could construct my sentences to sound more native. Pair programming is an agile software development technique that's based on very similar principles. For example, a learner and a mentor would sit down at the same workstation and work on a problem. The learner is in charge of writing code and the mentor reviews the code line by line as they are written. It can be uncomfortable at first because it's a bit embarrassing making mistakes and having them pointed out to you. But if you have a mentor who is a good teacher, then they will offer you decades of accumulated wisdom that can lead to massive improvements in your own ability all within a few hours. You will get to tap into someone who's had the time to hone their skills, find efficient ways of doing things, and show you how they program and approach problems. Good mentors don't solve your problems. Rather, they practice the Socratic method of asking good questions that get you to think for yourself. If you ask me how to write a networking call, of course, I can simply type it all out and get you to copy it, but that doesn't help you. Instead, if you show me how you approach the problem and I show you how approach the problem, then you can learn so much more than just following a recipe. The next time you encounter a different problem, you can apply the same approach and start solving it yourself. Always remember that information is a cheap. A country ago, if I wanted to learn about the cases of disease, probably had to be an aristocrat or chop wood and carry water for a master and become their apprentice. Nowadays, I can search Google and get my answer in a few seconds. So don't get hung up on information. Learn to think instead, how to approach a problem, how to break down the problem, how to frame the problem. These skills will take you much further than simple memorization and regression. But where do you find a mentor? There are programming related meetups happening in almost every city in the world. Go to www.meetup.com and find one related to a language you are trying to learn. Attend, attend the meetups, get to know people, exchange your expertise for the expertise. Maybe someone needs an accountant, maybe someone needs legal advice. Exchange your time for their time. Don't say to someone, will you be my mentor? No one wants to throw away their free time for some stranger. Instead, offer you help in return for their help, and you will be successful in finding a mentor 95% of the time. Thanks for today listening to me. Please subscribe and be aware of our channel. Thank you for everything.